What's up guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the player ratings of the season for Football Club Barcelona. It's going to be an interesting one. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. I said in my last video that I was going to hopefully record in the next few days. And now it's here. Let's get into it. So I just want to go over the structure of how I'm going to do these player ratings. So I'm going to go from defense to attack. So defense, goalkeeper, defense, midfield, attack. Then I'll be rating the two managers that we had this season. I'm not gonna rate the president because you all know what he gets. He gets a big fat 0, so I'm not gonna bother rating him. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give the average score. So the average score would be a 6. So above a 6 would be performing over average, and then under 6 would be performing below average. Okay, let's get into it. So also for the ratings, I'm gonna be rating every single first team player for Barcelona and some of the youth who have played a significant amount of first team games to be considered as a first team player, such as Ricky Puig, Ansu Fati, Araujo. So just them three, to be honest. So I'm gonna rate them three as well, and all the first team players. Starting off with the first goalkeeper, it was our starting goalkeeper, of course, Marc-Andre ter Stegen. And for the season, I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10. He was absolutely brilliant this season. Probably his best season in a Barcelona shirt. Saved us on countless occasions. One of the best saves I can think of this season was against Athletic Bilbao, the diving save from, I believe, was Aduriz. But there are countless saves. I can't even remember. The amount of times I tweeted Marc-Andre ter Stegen during a game has been astronomical. This man has been absolute pivotal in our team. Future captain for the team. And yep, 9 out of 10. Absolutely brilliant. Next goalkeeper is Neto. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Average season. He didn't really play that much. Only played a handful of games. Did really well in the games he played, though. I can think of maybe the Inter game, had a lot of good saves there. Other than that, he's rarely played. He kept a clean sheet in the last game of the season against Alaves. Did well in preseason as well, but can't really give him a rating based on preseason. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Didn't really play that much. Probably played less than 10 games, so 6 out of 10 I think is a fair score. So moving on to defense, we're going to start at right back. I'm going to start with Nelson Semedo. I'm going to give Nelson Semedo a 6 out of 10. I think he was average this season. Had some, terrible games, but had some good games. Hopefully, he can find that consistency. He's been here since 2017, so I'd hope by now he's found that consistency. But it looks like he hasn't. He's from Bartomeu declared him as untransferable, so he's gonna be staying. He's gonna probably sign a new contract. The contract expires next year, so just gonna have to stick with him. I do think defensively he's really good. It's attacking wise in the final third where he's absolutely dreadful. Hopefully he can improve on that. Hopefully Coleman can find a way for him to fit into the team. Moving on to center back positions, we're going to start off with Gerard Piqué. I'm going to give Piqué an 8 out of 10. I think this season he did really well. I know we've had some defensive frailties this season, but I don't think Piqué is one of those, man. I think Piqué has been brilliant this season again. Obviously one of the greatest center backs to ever play for Barcelona. Brilliant, gets your headers and defensively outstanding. Although now you can kind of see how he lacks pace, but in the first 45 minutes of a half, you can see he has pace, gets there behind the attack. But second half is where you see he gets tired, and that's what it comes with age. But I think he's been brilliant this season. He's he's a leader at the back, so I'm gonna go with 8 out of 10 for Gerard Piqué. Next center back is Clement Lenglet. I'm gonna give Lenglet a 9 out of 10. I think Lenglet this season has been an unsung hero. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Commander at the back, done so well. He scored a lot of headers this season as well. Obviously, he's been putting in some absolute masterclass. I remember so many games where he's been brilliant. And I think he's gonna be one of our center backs for the future. I think he can be, a Mascherano to a PK, but I don't know if he can be the main center back, that we always rely on like PK. But we'll see. Maybe he can change my mind. But 9 out of 10 this season, brilliant. This is one of the few signs that Bartomeu has made which has come out good. Not that many, but hopefully happy that Lenglet is one of them. He's been absolutely brilliant. 9 out of 10 for me. Moving on to Samuel Umtiti. I'm going to give Umtiti a 3 out of 10. This is probably one of the lowest scores in the team. 3 out of 10. He's been dreadful. Barely played this season as well. Started off the season when he wasn't injured. He was on the bench a lot because Lenglet was ahead of them. Then when he got his chance in the team, he got injured. Injury after injury. Now he has COVID, but hopefully he recovers. Barcelona want to sell him now too, so he's been dreadful this season. I think the one good game he had was Settien's first game, the Granada game. I think he played really well. Obviously cost us the league at the Celta Vigo game in the 2-2 draw. Forgot how to defend, and that's where everything went downhill from there. I think this is Umtiti's worst season in a Barcelona shirt. Although last season he barely played, but this season he barely played too. So, but when he played, he's been dreadful. So I'm gonna go with 3 out of 10. I think it's the lowest score in the Barcelona team. So the final center back is gonna be Ronald Araujo. I'm gonna give Araujo a 7 out of 10. I think he did okay this season. You know, he came in the Sevilla game for his debut. Obviously got sent off, so you didn't get to really see him then. But he's come, you know, he started in the Real Mallorca game, and after the COVID with PK, did really well. Played in the Alves game and came on as a sub, and when we needed another center back to, you know, secure a game. I think he did well. I think he's a center back for the future. So yeah, Araujo 7 out of 10 for me. Moving on to the left back, to start off with Jordi Alba. I'm gonna give Jordi Alba a 5 out of 10. This is one of his worst seasons in the ball ground shirt. Had a few goals, few assists, but his overall play and his overall performances have been dreadful. I think it's time now to find a new left back. Maybe start, you know, bringing him on as like, you know, a super sub in the left wing position or as a backup role for left back. Didn't really cut it this season for me. Probably was crying in the dressing room half the time. So 5 out of 10 for me for Jordi Alba. Junior Firpo is up next. I'm gonna give Firpo a 6 out of 10. I think he's only average because he didn't play that many games. When he came, he played well. Obviously, the Getafe game, he played well. The 2-0 at home, obviously assisted Roberto, you know, fullback to fullback. Had a big opportunity to play when he started against Real Betis after Jordi Alba's poor performance against Napoli. Didn't really play well. Jordi Alba had to come on, so Firpo is like a hit and miss for me, but I think overall in the season, he gets a solid 6 out of 10. Moving on into the midfield positions, we're going to start off with Sergio Busquets. I'm going to give Busquets a generous 8 out of 10. I think he did really well this season. Played in, you know, obviously the whole midfield role. You know, did his job a lot. Got the man of the match against Napoli. Had some brilliant performances as well along the way. I do think this is his last season, like in like the starting CDM role at the top level. I think now we're gonna see him under Koeman in the more like secondary. You know, come on to you know, secure a game or maybe start against the lower oppositions. Because obviously his pace nowadays lacks, but his ability is still up there. World class ability from Sergio Busquets. Solid 8 out of 10 for me. Next up is Frenkie de Jong in his new, first season at Barcelona. I'm going to give him a solid 7 out of 10. I think overall did well. Obviously not playing in his preferred position, playing in like box to box, and then one game he's box to box. One game he's attacking midfielder or more advanced of the 3 midfielders than he's holding. So I think he did well. Obviously the Real Betis game again, the 4-3 with Cristiano, one of his good games. Napoli at home 3-1 was a brilliant game for him as well. I'm really excited to see Koeman use Frenkie de Jong because I think we can expect a lot from Koeman with using Frenkie de Jong just due to the fact that, you know, Dutch, and he said that he wants to play him in that holding role. Really excited to see Frenkie de Jong there under Koeman, so I think 7 out of 10 for this season overall is a fair score. Let's move on. Next up is Ivan Rakitic. I'm going to give Rakitic a 4 out of 10. I think he was dreadful this season. Sideways, backwards, doesn't really work. Poor performance against Napoli as well. Some good games he had, probably the Bilbao game, the 1-0 where he scored the winning goal. Besides from that, I can't really think of anything else. Overall, another dreadful season from Rakitic. Hopefully he gets sold this summer. Next up is Arthur Melo, who's obviously been sold to Juventus and played his final season at Barcelona. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 just because he was really, really inconsistent and, you know, didn't really get a starting role in the team under Valverde or Setien. Some of the highlights he had this season was that banging goal he scored against Villarreal. What an absolute banger. I think his performance in the El Clasico away at the Bernabeu, played well as well. I think next season would have been a really, you know, good season for him to shine. 2 years in Spain adapting, he was learning the language as well. I think next season would have been his real time to shine, but obviously he's been sold to Juventus, so we won't get to see that. And now he's getting DUIs left, right, center, so I'm not going to talk about that. 6 out of 10 for Arthur Melo. Next up is Arturo Vidal. I'm going to give Vidal a 6 out of 10. I think he's more pushing to a 6.5, but I decided to bring it down to a 6 rather than bringing it up to a 7. I think as a super sub, he's been brilliant. Obviously, he scored, I think, the fourth top scorer in the team behind Messi, Suarez, Griezmann, which is obviously good for a midfielder. I think as a super sub or as a very, very advanced midfielder, he's brilliant. But I think he's been used inconsistently. Then once he's a starter, he plays, you know, like up and down. And then like his passing in the middle of the field when he's there he always tries like trickery. Doesn't really go for the simple ones like forward. I mean, that was a hit and miss for me. If we sell him, we sell him. If not, I'll take him because I still think he's a brilliant player. But overall in the season, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. Next up is Sergi Roberto. I've counted him as a midfielder, but obviously we have to rate his performance at right back. Overall in the season, I think a 7 out of 10 is very fair for Roberto. I think as a utility man who's playing everywhere, he's brilliant. I think he's had more good games than bad games, but he's had bad games this season. 7 out of 10 for me is an absolutely fair score, and hopefully next season we can see the best from Roberto. If he's not sold, of course, there's rumors he's going to be sold, but I don't think he's going to get sold because he's the captain of the club. I don't know why I'm keep going, but yeah, 7 out of 10. So the final midfielder we're going to rate, who has the highest score tied with Busquets, is Ricky Puig. I'm going to give Ricky Puig an 8 out of 10. I think he's been brilliant, absolutely world class. He should be starting at midfield, but obviously every single manager who comes in says he's brilliant, then they don't start him. So it's just whatever, man. Atletico Madrid game, the 2-2 was another brilliant game from him. We're so excited to see him in the Champions League. Didn't get played by Setien, which is one of the reasons I think why he got sacked. Another good game was the Alves game where he got 2 assists. Brilliant in that game as well. I'm praying to God Coleman plays him in this next season so we can see his true qualities. 8 out of 10 from me. Moving on to the forwards, we're going to start off with Martin Braithwaite. I'm going to give Braithwaite a 6 out of 10 just because, average season, wasn't really in the team. Bottom as an emergency standing and barely played him. So when he made his debut, he's, gave us, that energy that we lacked. Then we were all hyped. COVID came back after COVID, scored his first goal against Real Mallorca. Then we haven't seen him since. So I think we need to sell him because he was just as a quick, emergency thing. If there was no COVID, I think maybe he would have been a decent signing. But then Suarez came back just because of the COVID, so Suarez had more time to recover. Overall, from Braithwaite, I think 6 out of 10 is absolutely fair. Next up is Luis Suarez, El Pistolero. I'm going to give El Pistolero a 5 out of 10. I think this is one of his worst seasons of Blaugrana shirt. Still scored 20 goals, but performance overall has been dreadful. I think if he scored all his chances, he would have gotten 40 goals. I think that's how many chances he's missed. The amount of chances he misses and the tap-ins he misses are absolutely dreadful, and it costs us so many games. Lack of pace is also there, and his lack of stamina is evidence as well. It's just a really poor season from Suarez, and sad to see him end off his Barcelona career in a poor season like this, but there are rumors he's going to be sold. Will he be sold is the question, and it's going to be hard to get rid of him, but he's on $500K a week. $500K a week for that? Unacceptable. 5 out of 10 for me. Next up is Antoine Griezmann. I'm going to give Griezmann a 6 out of 10. Average season. I think as a first, get to keep in mind this is his first year in Barcelona. He's trying to adapt as well. He had a lot of good performances. Obviously, the Villarreal, Borussia Dortmund, some good performances. He also has some poor performances. But I do think the poor performances are based on the coach and where he plays him. I think he's kind of, forced into playing bad performance when he's playing on the wing, when he's a forward. Well, not forward, I mean like a striker. So hopefully Coleman can bring the best out of him. I think 6 out of 10 is a fair score for Griezmann. Next up is Ansu Fati. Breakthrough season. I'm going to give Ansu an 8 out of 10. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. I think he's also been very, very good. I think the only reason why his score is a little bit lower is just because of his finishing. I think his finishing lacks a lot, but hopefully he's not like a Vinicius finishing like that dreadful. It's just, a little bit dreadful. Hopefully he can improve on that. 8 out of 10 for a breakthrough season for a 17-year-old is absolutely brilliant. Next up is Ousmane Dembele, the Boost. He's going to get a 4 out of 10. Dreadful season again. Played his first in the first game of the season against Atletico Bilbao. Got injured. Was out until like November. Played against Dortmund and then was out for the rest of the season. Wasn't really out for the rest of the season. Came back and then got injured in training, which made him out for the rest of the season. Scored 1 goal. Barely played. 4 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. I'm going to say this again for the 1,000th time. Hopefully next season will be his season. I'm already Dembele out at this point. I think we should get rid of him. But a lot of people are saying give it one more chance. My one more chance was one more chance ago. Other people are saying this is his last chance. So 4 out of 10 for me from Dembele. So the final player we're going to rate is El Capitan, Lionel Messi. I have here 2 ratings for him. I have a human rating and a Messi rating. For a human rating, he gets 10 out of 10. Obviously brilliant. Best player in the world. Can't ask for that. But I think as a Messi season, rating him on that, I'm going to give him a 9. I think, there were some games that were really, really calling off for him. And then, he kind of, gave up. And like after the 60th minute, you think about Athletic Bilbao in the cup. Creates. Doesn't really get there. I do think now, saying like why I gave him an 9 out of 10, I do feel harsh a bit. But I do think no one had a perfect season this season. Even Messi hasn't had a perfect season, But, I don't know. I may just give him a 10 now because it's just, I think you understand why I gave him a 9 like on a Messi rating, just because, he didn't have that, you can't really explain it, but I think, 9 and 10, whatever you want to give him, there's nothing. He's still the best player in the world, best player in their team. So I'm making prayer every day to God that he stays. Now let's move on to the managers. Let's start with the manager that started off the season and got sacked in January, Ernesto Valverde. He gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Played dreadful football. Gave us 5 losses in our first 20 games or whatever in the league, which is dreadful. Champions League did alright. I like the Inter game, the one that we played away when you play the youth, and we had a good performance. Other than that, typical Valverde, lost Super Cup, and that was the end for him. And our manager for the second half of the season, Quique Setien, who took over in January, gets a 5 out of 10 from me. I think he was put in a terrible situation to start off with, but I think, he made a lot of the decisions that he made is what cost him the sack. Changing up the system every single game, saying he's going to trust on youth and he didn't. Ricky Puig and Ansu Fati playing a combined of 12 minutes in the Champions League, and he didn't let them go to Barcelona B is an absolute disgrace. Doesn't use his subs. He has 5 subs and only uses 1 or 2, which I don't understand as well. I do think he was set up to fail. I do feel bad for him. I think 5 out of 10 is a fair rating from him. Now it's time for me to give you my player of the season, and I'm going to call this the player of the season trophy minus Messi. Obviously, Messi gets it every single year, but I want to give another player recognition for what he's done this season. If you've been following the video, there were 2 other players who got 9 out of 10, and that was Ter Stegen and Clement Lenglet. I'm going to give my player of the season to Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. I think Ter Stegen has been the best goalkeeper in the world this season. Maybe just, close to ahead of All Black. Been brilliant. Play out of the back has been brilliant as well, except for the Miami game. But overall, it's been brilliant. We're going to miss him the first few months of the season due to his surgery. But yeah, man, Ter Stegen played the season for me absolutely brilliant. I can't remember the last time we had a player this season that was a goalkeeper. Valdez played well and all, but he never, never had to do much because the defense and the way we played was so good. But when he was called upon, he was always there, Valdez. And I think Ter Stegen is up there with one of the best Barcelona keepers we've ever had. Maybe him, Valdez, and Zubi. But yeah, Ter Stegen is my player of the season. So that's my player ratings for the 2019-2020 season. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, comment, hit the subscribe button. And please leave me your comments down below of your player ratings of the season. Don't have to do all the players, maybe just do the main starting 11, a lot of the players who played, the starting lineup, plus maybe Vidal, Roberto, those players that always came on and played. Please leave me your thoughts down below, your ratings, maybe just the player name and the rating. I really appreciate it. I would really like to see it. See you guys next time, probably for, Barcelona news reaction video. So, I don't know what I'll probably do one when there's a lot of news and a lot of stuff to cover, or some breaking news as well. See you guys then. Take care, and Forza Barca.